What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time that we look at the 2024 presidential election and how will President Biden really campaign in 2024. Now, as many of you know, we've been discussing about how Republicans should campaign, how are they campaigning, what issues they're focusing on, all of that. But we're not really focused on Biden because, we're more focused on the fact that the Republican field is, let's be real with ourselves, a complete and total nightmare. However, we got to start looking at what Biden's promises, what his campaign's going to focus on, because that's how we're going to beat him if we do better on the issues than President Biden. So, yeah, it's a very fascinating thing. I don't know what he's really going to focus on just yet, but Axios just put out an article with pretty much insider sources describing what Biden will focus on, and we're going to go over, is it a good idea for him, and how can Republicans counter this? Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below. Guys, go follow Real American Politics on Twitter. It is a great Twitter account everyone should follow. Of course, follow the Rumble page down below for exclusive content. And of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $3 a month, you can join Real American, which is a phenomenal deal. It's helped support the daily content we all know and love. You love the daily content, you love, my videos and stuff, well, this is the best way to support it as well. I don't have to take sponsorships, I don't got to do anything. This channel is 100% supported by you, the viewer. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. So Biden's 2024 vision, play 2020 again. Now, I don't know if that means, go in the basement again, but that's probably what they're talking about. But let's get into it, because I'm really baffled at what Democrats will campaign on. Because I'm thinking they're starting to realize the abortion stuff, that was a bit overplayed. Yes, it may have helped them slightly in 2022, though again, the data that we have kind of conflicts with that. Either way, the polling now has abortion like the 8th most important issue, because yes, there was a huge spike in 2022 in interest comparatively, but now it's like, okay, nothing's really changed. I think a lot of people misunderstood Roe versus Wade, what it did, and people are like, wait, nothing's changed. There's still a lot of states that allow abortion, in quote-unquote reasonable amounts. So what was the point? But yeah, so we gotta look at what Biden is focused on. President Biden is betting that 2024 voters will prefer continuity over Republican disruption, so he'll ask for a second term by emphasizing what he did in his first, and campaigning on largely the same proposals he ran on in 2020. So I think that's actually a very smart idea by Biden, because let's be real with ourselves, there were a couple things Biden did pass that I and a couple other people do agree with. The child tax credit, the, reform or, Made in America stuff, that kind of stuff. I do agree with Biden on some issues related to, like, the child tax credit. Outside of that, though, there's a reason he's trying to ignore, some of the other things I didn't pass. But yeah, again, I'm not saying I agree with everything. I'm just saying that there are like one or two things that I'm glad Biden did do. His approach is in stark contrast to former President Trump, the leading GOP candidate who has published a sweeping quote-unquote far-right agenda. There's this spin by Axios that would dramatically increase his own power. Which you really look at it, no, it just would reform the government, so you don't have this deep state, and you don't have these people that work for the government for 30 years, some of those corrupt people in the world, keep working the same job year after year. But yeah, Trump's reforms are pretty good. If you actually read what Trump wants to do, it's incredibly based. And I recommend people actually go listen and watch his Agenda 47 videos. Most of them have very good policies. Biden's campaign website does not include an issues page for a second-term agenda. He's expected to offer more details about his plans as the general election approaches. For now, Biden's team is focused in on Republican policies, blasting the GOP's extreme MAGA agenda. Front and center in their effort, highlighting GOP-led bans on abortion and general Republican opposition to assault weapon bans. Now, the second one, that's not going to work. We've seen referendums. Gun control ain't popular, even in frickin' Oregon or Maine. Some of the more Democrat states. They're not popular, even for assault weapon bans. They're not. You go to Wisconsin, I mean, this would fail by like 70 points. Even in Dane County. So, I'm glad the Democrats, they're still idiots about the gun issue. Sure, people may support, some background checks, which they, when you look at it, already have. But either way, it's like, people don't want to say, oh, we support banning the right to bear arms. It's like, no. And the GOP led bans on abortion. You look at the issues, like the most important issues, abortion's like 6 right now. So it's like, why are you focusing on that? There are a lot of other Democrats have kind of stopped, talking about it to a lesser extent. I know yesterday was it 2 days ago? It was like the 1-year anniversary of Roe versus Wade being overturned, thank God. But it's like, the issue of abortion is just starting to fade away when you really think about it, because people are like, this is kind of a state issue. It's not really a federal thing right now. Biden's decision to run has past legislative victories such as the bipartisan infrastructure law and his climate and healthcare bill, rather than make big promises for new policies, reflects his top advisor's confidence that the country's heading in the right direction. Really? I don't care what the people on Twitter say. You look at the economy. All the metrics suck. Everything. Look, it's only a matter of time before the bubble bursts. There's so many freaking bubbles approaching with like the job market, the real estate market, the banking, everything. It's being held together by duct tape at this point. It doesn't matter how much you spend, jacking up the interest rate, it's eventually going to bite you at the end of the day. It will. The country's not heading the right direction. That's just, again, Biden's people are arguably some of the most delusional people alive. They're a bunch of, 20-year-old college grads that, they think, we need to make the entire country San Francisco. San Francisco's the greatest city in the world and all this stuff. It's like, go away. But yeah, that approach, which the campaign has framed as finish the job, has risks. 2/3 of Americans believe the country's on the wrong track, more than on Election Day in 2020. Biden's approval rating is stuck in the low 40s, better than Trump's, not true, but not by much. If the economy slips in the recession, Biden's numbers could dip, and that's the key. If the economy goes into recession, it's over. It's done. And there are a lot of metrics indicating it's a matter of time. And Biden, his numbers being held together, again, literally by duct tape. You look at it, it's like 2% strongly approve, 38% somewhat approve. There's like 2% of people that say, I strongly approve of Biden. The rest are just like, I support him. Not by much, which is the inverse of Trump. Yes, his approval rating was in the mid-40s. But you look at it, it was stuck there. You look at it, it's like, of the 45%, 42% strongly approved. It was 3% that was like, meh. And the inverse of disapproval was true, but you get the point that Trump, he had a very solidified base. Biden, again, it's being held together by duct tape and plastic or whatever. It's not good for a president to have that bad of approvals with strongly approve. On Monday, Biden will launch another Invest in America tour. Cabinet officials will hit the road to talk up his infrastructure and manufacturing investments and economic accomplishments. Now, the infrastructure bill was crap. I support infrastructure, and some neocons don't, but it's like, we need to rebuild the roads in this country. Did you see that train that fell into, like, the Yellowstone River, I think it was? It's like, Yeah, that ain't good. We have crumbling infrastructure that we have to fix. And this is another thing about Biden that some Republicans still don't get. His Invest in America tour is popular. People are saying, yeah, we want to invest in America. I know Biden's full of it, but it's like, what do you mean that's unpopular? There's some Republicans that think that's socialism. No, it isn't. It's just common sense. I do not get why Republicans are still against this idea of, investing in America. Instead, they're more focused on, we need to spend money on Ukraine. I know Biden's doing the same thing, but it's like, at least he's grifting about it. We have to invest in America. Biden's message of fundraisers and supporters and the outlines of his second-term agenda essentially are the same proposals he ran on in 2020. Asked what Biden would do with a second term, his campaign pointed to the president's policy proposals in this year's State of the Union. In this speech, he called for closing tax loopholes for the wealthy, which I agree with. Now, we know Biden, he's talking about, a 70% tax rate for some people, and, we got to know exactly how much you make, every investment you make above $1, everything. I understand that, but we got to fix the tax code. There's no reason some of these wealthy people, they pay nothing in taxes. I don't care if it's, oh, well, you see here, they get all these deductibles and stuff. It's like, who cares? There's no reason they pay nothing. They got to pay something. Improving access to preschool and community college, I agree with. In particular, community college, way better alternative, and you actually get a good education compared to some of these universities, and it's a lot cheaper. And ensuring paid family medical leave, which again, why are Republicans against this? Why? There should be some paid family medical leave. Ideas he ran on last time. He's again calling for an assault weapon ban. Again, not popular. Even in blue states, that referendum would fail miserably. And the need to codify abortion rights in federal legislation. Good luck with that. And on top of that, it's like, no, Roe versus Wade just said it's up to the states. You can't just say, oh, we're going to, codify it into federal legislation. You need a constitutional amendment. You really think you're getting 3/4 of states and like 2/3 of the Senate and the House? I don't think that's happening. Biden has not embraced some of the recent proposals from more liberal Democrats, such as gun control constitutional amendment, popularized by California Governor Gavin Newsom, which is like, Gavin Newsom's a nut job for that. Go read it. It pretty much says you can't have guns. That's literally what it says. Or a $17 an hour minimum wage, which is being pushed by Bernie Sanders, which, the minimum wage is a bit different. When you talk about it, if you're talking about like increasing it and indexing to inflation, I agree with it, but $17? I know that a lot of people are getting paid like $14, $15 as a starting wage, but it's like 17? That may be pushing it. Biden's campaign aides say they aren't overly concerned about his low poll numbers, in part because the team faced dismal numbers before the 2022 midterms, when Democrats performed better than expected. Asked last November what he planned to do differently in 2023 and 24, Biden replied, nothing, because they're just finding out what we're doing. The more they know about what we're doing, the more support there is. Dude, your approval has gone down the past like 2 months. I don't want to hear it. Biden frequently mentions his $280 billion CHIPS and Science Act, which was designed to counter China by investing in America's technology industry, which I agree with. Though there's some problems with the CHIPS Act, it's far better than nothing. In July of 2020, Biden gave a series of meaty speeches to lay out his Build Back Better agenda, which called for more than $2.7 trillion for American manufacturing, clean energy technology, and infrastructure. Though you read into it, it's like 0.1 billion or like 100 billion would actually go to manufacturing. The rest would go to clean energy crap. This is the problem that I have with Democrats. They make a big deal about manufacturing. We got to bring back the jobs. You read their bills, and virtually none of the money would go to American manufacturing. It goes to some grift known as clean energy, which, if you talk about nuclear, yeah, but the rest of the stuff ain't that effective. He also proposed spending an additional $775 billion for working parents and caregivers. I agree with. These are policies that are popular, and Republicans gotta realize, no, you can't just say, what do you think's be more popular? Some guy's saying, we're gonna spend $775 billion for working people. Or, oh, that's socialism. We're not gonna spend anything on working people. What do you think's more popular? Faced with a 50-50 Senate in his first 2 years, he had those ambitions trimmed to a $1.1 trillion infrastructure bill and a $740 billion climate and healthcare bill, which again, both of them were not that effective, let's be real here. Both were significant accomplishments, but smaller than Biden had imagined. Instead of dwelling on what he didn't accomplish, such as paid family leave or increasing the corporate tax rate, Biden will take a victory lap to remind Americans what he's done. You know, that may not be the smartest idea in hindsight, because you look at the foreign policy stuff. If you start focusing on, what I've done, well, look at what happened in Afghanistan. What's happening in Ukraine right now? This is just a bad idea by Biden. Look, there's some good stuff that he's pushing, supposedly. I know he's full of it, but there are some popular stuff that he has tried to push forward, but it's like, it's not enough to counteract all the crap the Biden administration has done. And I think overall, there are some good things he should hammer the, CHIPS Act. He should hammer, bring back American manufacturing, invest in America. It's a grift. We all know it, but it's like, that's far more popular than outside Trump. What Republican would support that? Of the main candidates, who would support something like the CHIPS Act? Exactly. It's a scam. It's not really a scam. It's just a sad thing that Republicans still don't get. Yes, we need to cut government spending. We still got to invest in America. We can't just, get rid of all government spending and pretend everything's good. That ain't a good idea. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.